The metallic taste of fear lingered in my mouth as Mr. Thompson, my usually jovial boss, glared at me across his mahogany desk. His words,
"We're letting you go, Anna,"
hung in the air, sharp and cold, a stark contrast to the commendation emails and Employee of the Month awards that adorned my tiny cubicle just a few feet away. It had all started subtly. Hushed whispers when I walked past the coffee machine, files mysteriously misplaced, deadlines inexplicably shifted. I chalked it up to workplace stress, the inevitable friction of a high-pressure environment. After all, I was the rising star at Innovate Marketing, my innovative campaigns consistently exceeding expectations, my dedication unquestionable. The whispers, however, morphed into blatant sabotage. My presentation for a major client, painstakingly crafted over countless late nights, vanished from the shared drive hours before the meeting. My replacement, a subpar effort hastily cobbled together by none other than my colleagues, Mark and Jessica, received lukewarm praise, their mediocrity masked by a barrage of excuses and finger-pointing in my direction.
"Don't worry, Anna. We'll back you up,"
Jessica had chirped, her voice dripping with faux sympathy, her eyes gleaming with something that chilled me to the bone. But their support amounted to vague affirmations and thinly veiled accusations, their carefully crafted narrative casting me as disorganized, unreliable, and ultimately, incompetent. Mr. Thompson, blinded by their manufactured evidence and swayed by their constant whispering campaign, began to doubt my abilities. The once warm smiles turned into scrutinizing glances, the casual chats replaced with curt nods. Then came the final blow. A confidential client report, entrusted to me for final edits, mysteriously found its way onto a competitor's desk, the blame falling squarely on my shoulders. The evidence, fabricated but convincing, left me speechless, my protests dismissed as desperate attempts to salvage my crumbling reputation.
"This isn't like you, Anna,"
Mr. Thompson had said, his voice laced with disappointment, his eyes reflecting the suspicion that had taken root in his heart.
"I thought you were different."
Different. The word stung, a confirmation that I had been ostracized, branded as a threat, not because I was incompetent, but because I was everything they weren't, dedicated, creative, and successful. Their jealousy, a venomous serpent, had poisoned my professional life, leaving behind a trail of shattered trust and broken dreams. My dismissal was swift, a cold and impersonal affair. No opportunity to defend myself, to expose their lies. I left the office that day carrying a cardboard box filled with the meager remnants of my career, my heart heavy with betrayal, my mind reeling from the injustice. The weeks that followed were a blur of anger, self-doubt, and the bitter sting of unemployment. Job applications went unanswered, my once stellar resume now tarnished by the stain of my dismissal. One rainy afternoon, my phone buzzed, an unknown number flashing on the screen. The voice on the other end sent a shiver down my spine. It was Mrs. Campbell, the wife of the client whose confidential report had sealed my fate at Innovate.
"Anna, darling."
Her voice, usually laced with warmth, quivered with a strange mix of guilt and urgency.
"We need to talk. It's about Emily."
Emily, Jessica's niece, a bright and bubbly teenager whom Jessica often boasted about, was clearly her most cherished relative. I had met Emily briefly at a company picnic, and found her interest in my work rather endearing.
What followed was a revelation that turned my world upside down. Emily, struggling with the pressure of college applications and desperate to impress her beloved aunt, had confessed to accidentally emailing the confidential report to the wrong address. Jessica, realizing the opportunity this presented, saw a way to eliminate me, her jealousy metamorphosing into a monstrous plan that ensnared her own niece in its web of deceit. Mrs. Campbell, horrified by her sister's actions and the collateral damage inflicted on an innocent young woman, insisted on righting the wrong. The truth, unveiled through a series of emails and phone records retrieved from Emily's computer, painted a damning picture of deceit and sabotage. Mr. Thompson, faced with the undeniable truth of Jessica and Mark's treachery, was devastated. His guilt at misjudging me, at falling prey to their lies, was palpable. He offered me my job back, this time with a promotion and a sincere apology that mirrored the remorse etched on his face. Jessica and Mark, their carefully constructed facade crumbling around them, were swiftly fired, their cries of innocence falling on deaf ears. The office, once abuzz with their hushed whispers, fell silent, their absence a tangible reminder of the price of envy and the corrosive power of lies. As I settled back into my new office, larger and brighter than my former cubicle, a sense of vindication washed over me. Justice had prevailed, but more importantly, I had emerged from the ordeal stronger, my spirit unbroken, my belief in myself restored. The experience, though painful, had taught me a valuable lesson, that true success lies not in tearing others down, but in building ourselves up, and that the truth, however deeply buried, has a way of revealing itself, often with the help of the most unexpected allies.